Hello guys, and today I'm going to give you another um, chess question. White took the knight. Now you can see it's possible for the black rook to take the white bishop, but the question is, should they? Should black take the bishop? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think, approximately, and then I'll show you the game from the beginning. Okay, I think that's about 10 seconds, and I'll show you the game from the beginning. Now, it's not that eventful until near the end. You'll notice my favourite opening of moving the king rook pawn forward to. They've moved their pawn. I do not know why they've done that, because it blocks that from happening. I can't see a benefit, but there may be one later. I advanced the pawn, they blocked it. I moved my other pawn up. They threaten it. I threaten their knight. They decide to move the knight to safety. I move another pawn up. I'm basically threatening the knight. The queen takes the pawn. I move another pawn up. They move the queen. I take their pawn. They take my pawn. I then offer, essentially, I'm then pinning the, here I'm pinning the knight, because if they move the knight, then they lose their queen. They move their queen to safety. I took their knight. Their queen is now being threatened, so they have to move it to safety. They take my bishop. If I take, then I'll lose my queen, so we're offering a queen exchange. I decline the queen exchange. Move my knight out. They pin my knight. I move the bishop to unpin the knight. They take the bishop. I take their bishop. They move the knight. I now castle. And now by castling, I'm threatening a potential mate there, but they can block it with their knight. Not mate yet, but mate in the future potentially. They see a threat, they castle, which is stupid, but more on that later. I now have a rook exchange, a queen exchange. Now I move the rook to safety. They move a pawn. I move the pawn out the way. They move their bishop back. They then take a pawn, I'm not quite sure why. I then move the rook. They move the bishop back. Now, this looks like a very strange move, but it's actually brilliant. And this is where they take the knight. Now this was the question I asked you at the very beginning of the game. Should black take this bishop? And I gave you 10 seconds to decide. I'm going to give you another 10 seconds to decide again. Right, the answer is they shouldn't take it. Instead, we now have mate in 2 if we don't take it. So I'll show you what I actually did. I took the pawn, check. There is now only one valid move they can do, which is to move into the corner. And now, there are 2 ways of actually doing the checkmate. Well, there's actually, yeah. So, this was the one I did. So instead of taking the bishop, I actually took the pawn. Checkmate. But another alternative, after they did this, another alternative would have been to do that. Why is it not checkmate? Wait a minute. I'm baffled. Why is that not checkmate? Oh yeah, it's not checkmate because I can move there. So I was wrong. That would have been a bad move. So I thought I could do that, but I couldn't. So anyway, so I was wrong. So basically, that was the guaranteed checkmate move, and they cannot go there because of the bishop. So that was the only checkmate move in the end. I apologise. I thought there was another one, but I was wrong. Okay, guys, so there you go. But you might ask, why shouldn't you have taken the bishop? Well, I'll tell you. Apart from the fact that I had mate in 2, let's supposing instead I had actually taken the bishop instead. Now, they can find an escape. They could move their rook somewhere which would then allow them to escape this way and then through here. Or they could move the pawn, which would have allowed them to escape any way they liked here. So they would have been able to escape, potentially, if I had taken the bishop. Chess isn't Monopoly. It's not about taking pieces for the sake of it. It is about position. So there you go, guys. The answer was you shouldn't have taken the bishop. Thanks for watching. Bye.